can I live in Charlotte, right? So I'm gonna break it down to you in like age groups, right? So I say from 19 to about 35, right? That's like kind of like millennial, right? And somewhat Generation Z. From 19 to 35, right? I would say, now, taking heed before I even go any further, when I'm talking about places to stay, I'm talking about if you have money, right? Now, of course, if you don't have money and you staying in, you living in like, if you want to live in like, I guess, I don't want to call it the hood, but I call it like more of affordable area. There's tons of places you can stay in Charlotte. East Charlotte, all East Charlotte, West Charlotte, Bettysford, Wilkinson Boulevard, Freedom Drive. Now, taking heed, there may be a lot of problems going on, drugs, guns, and all of the rest of that stuff. This is what I hear on the news and what I see on the news, right? So if you want to stay in a more affordable place, aka the hood, there's tons of places in Charlotte that you can live in. I'm talking about places where you don't have to worry about getting shot at. You don't have to worry about coming outside and somebody's selling drugs in front of your yard. You don't have to worry about somebody breaking into your home and stuff like that, right? So these are the places that I'm talking about where it's safe, right? So from 19 years old to 35 years old, you want to stay or live in the South End, the South Boulevard going towards Uptown, and Plaza Midwood down Central Avenue. Also, the University area. That's where I would say that the Generation Z / millennial should live at, right? The reason why I say that is because it's more of a younger crowd that stay in those areas, and it's newly developed. You understand? Uptown is new, of course. South End is new. South Boulevard that goes towards Uptown is new. Central Avenue, they built apartments and condos and all that stuff. That's new. So everything that I'm talking about is probably about roughly about 4 or 5 years old, right? So now that we got that out of the hand, right? So from 35 on up, let's say if you're middle class and you want to live in a middle class area and you're making, I say roughly between 70 to kind of like 100,000, close to 100,000, 70 to 90,000, or like if you, I'm saying like if you have, if you're married, so your total income is like $150,000, and you want to live comfortably and you want to be able to travel and do A, B, and C and do whatever the hell you want to do, right? I would say stay in, like a middle class area like Still Creek. Still Creek is like perfect. You understand? It is the working class force, working force, wherever they call it, right? In that area, that's where mostly your families live at. It's a diverse area. You're going to find yourself, it's 11, 12 o'clock at night. You're going to find yourself being up and everybody else's lights are going to be off because everybody works in the Still Creek area. There's little to no violence. It's pretty much family orientated. If you want to raise your family, in a nice place, I say Still Creek. Now, the high school that's over there, they're going to build a new high school, but the high school is over there. It's called Olympic. It's horrible. I wouldn't recommend it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they haven't built a new high school yet. Still Creek is new. You know what I'm saying? It's newly developed. Part of it is like from Whitehall on down going towards Uptown. That part of that area is like just one side of the street that's hood. You know what I'm saying? Going down South Tryon. And those people, I'm not trying to be funny, but those are the people that go to Olympic. You understand? So Olympic is mixed in with the other side of Still Creek going towards Lake Wiley and Rivergate. That whole area is nice. So they're gonna eventually build a high school out there. I don't know why they don't have one now, but it is what it is. If you're looking for top-notch schools for your children to go to, you're gonna want to live in places like Huntersville and Ballantyne. Ballantyne has Audrey Cale, which is like the top-notch high school. And, I ain't going to say number one in the state of North Carolina, but it's up there. if you're making six figures, if you're doing like well above, 100,000, you know what I'm saying? I would say live in places like Huntersville, South Park, Ballantyne. Those are like, your places where, you got mansions, you got big houses, people are doing big things over there. Now take it heed, you can live in Ballantyne, you can live in South Park, you can live in Huntersville if it's affordable if you're living in an apartment, right? Apartments go anywhere between $1,200 on up per month in those places. But that's basically the only way you can live there if you're not making $100,000 or more, right? So Huntersville is a good place if you're making $100,000 or more. It's family orientated. Morrisville is a good place. Now Morrisville is nice. It's affordable if you're living out in the country. Let me tell you something about this whole Charlotte metro area, right? If you're living out more in the country, it costs less. If you're living more in the city limits of Charlotte, it's gonna cost more. That plain and simple. Unless you're living in like the hood. Now, of course, if like I'm right now, I'm off of South Boulevard. Like I could go straight up and take Freedom Road, Freedom Drive or whatever, Wilkerson Boulevard, and I'm in the hood, right? They may have rent like what? For a 3-bedroom, probably $1,000. But at the same time, it's gonna be some BS going on. So if you want to live in nice areas, you want to live on the outskirts, but more so like coming towards the city. If you understand where I'm coming from, more closer to the city than out of the city. Lake Norman is expensive. You understand? I mean, you're living off the lake. I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? What else have I not covered? So people ask me all this all the time. What about Fort Mill? What about Indian Land? What about Rock Hill? What about Concord? And you're talking about Gastonia. You're talking about surrounding towns that are in Metro Charlotte. Now, let me tell you this. If you all have been to Atlanta, right? I'm gonna break it down to you like this, right? If you all been to Atlanta, you could live in Metro Atlanta, right? Like Sandy Springs, Dunwoody, College Point. Well, I wouldn't recommend College Point or East Point because that's hood. Douglasville, Marietta, those places, Kennesaw, whatever, how they pronounce that, right? You can live in those areas because there's kind of like some things to do, you know what I'm saying? Most people don't live in the city limits of Atlanta. They live in Metro Atlanta, right? That's not how Charlotte works. If you live in Concord, it's country. It's boring. It's nothing to do. The only thing that Concord has to offer is NASCAR. If you into racing, car racing, I mean, I guess you would love it. The only thing they have to offer is NASCAR and Concord Mills. That's it. That plain and simple. Fort Mills and Rock Hill is minutes away from Charlotte. It's not Charlotte city limits. In actuality, it's South Carolina, right? And you'll be amazed once you cross the North Carolina state line and go into South Carolina how different it is as far as like the way it looks and just as well as just overall the people and how they treat you, specifically how they treat minorities. You understand? So I would say if you want to live out there, you're going to get more bang for your buck if you're living in a house. Of course, you're going to get more land and the house is going to be bigger, whatever have you. Well, it just depends because they're going up on prices. Because the thing of it is now Charlotte is getting expensive. It's becoming expensive to live within the city limits. More people are migrating, Charlotteans, and then also it's crazy because and I feel bad for the Charlotteans because people such as myself and other transplants or however they call them that migrate here that's not from here are actually taking over the city. And they're bringing in, their whole lifestyle and how they want Charlotte to be. And Charlotte is catering towards these people, right? So it's becoming more expensive, right? And the Charlotteans and other people that can't afford to live in the city limits of Charlotte are moving to the outskirts, of Charlotte. You know, I got a dude that I'm cool with. He moved to Gastonia, been born and raised all his life in Charlotte, but all of a sudden he picked up, I think it was about 2 years ago, and he moved to Gastonia. He has a townhome. He's not paying little to nothing for it. You know what I'm saying? But those areas are slowly but surely becoming expensive because people, you know, these towns, Rock Hill, Fort Mill, Concord, Gastonia, they're slowly but surely catching on. You understand? What else did I? Okay, so if you live in Ballantyne and you work in the uptown area, or like, man, if you work in the uptown area, Huntersville, places like that, man, it's gonna be hectic. You know what I'm saying? It is very hectic in the morning time, you know, as far as getting out of Ballantyne. It really is. They have express buses in Huntersville, as Ballantyne. They have one on Ray Road that goes up Ray Road, Providence Road. So they have these express buses that leave from uptown Charlotte and go to Ballantyne, and then, you know, they go back from Ballantyne to uptown Charlotte. So I would think, in my personal opinion, if I lived in Ballantyne and I lived in Ballantyne and I worked in uptown or Huntersville and, you know, like University area, I would, you know, catch the express buses. Or I would, another good idea to do is to actually, and which people do, they drive from Ballantyne and they catch the Lynx train off of South Boulevard, like right on the tip of Pineville. They catch the Lynx train and then they take it all the way down. You understand? Millennials, for those that don't have cars, that are used to living in big cities and stuff like that, and you truly depend on public transportation, specifically the train. We don't have a big major train system here, but what I would say is, if you're living along the Lynx rail, right? Like I said earlier before, South Boulevard going towards Uptown and South End and Uptown, you don't have a problem. You wouldn't have no problem for us having a car, because you catch the Lynx train. Another area that I failed to mention is Noda area. Noda area is eclectic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of young people live there. The way the Lynx train goes, it goes straight through Charlotte. So once you pass through Uptown, there's stops all down Noda area. Like, and there's new apartments. Like, that whole Noda area is old, but everything is new as far as dealing with apartments and condos that's there. So they got a strip that Lynx Trail goes straight through, and on the right hand side is nothing but apartments and condos. So say for example, if you're living in one of those apartments and you were trying to get to work, like working in Uptown, all you had to do was just walk across the street and catch the train. That plain and simple. And in that area, I think they call it the Mill area, something like General Mill area, whatever. It's a newly developed area where they have Optimus Hall. So you can walk across the street, go to Optimus Hall and hang out. They got free Wi-Fi. They have, like, it's a mill, like a big warehouse that they just gutted out, and now they have a bunch of little restaurants in that whole area. It's like a mall, but they're not selling anything but food in there. So that whole area is lit. Yo, man, the best time to move is right about now. You know, I got my mask right here. I'm about to go work out. It's optional for me to wear it. It's optional basically anywhere in Charlotte to wear masks. The governor has loosened up this mandate for us, it being mandatory to wear masks. The numbers are low; they're declining. We're moving into the summer, so I've been here for years and I know how it goes. These apartment complexes and different condos and townhomes and stuff like that, they're coming out with these deals. You understand? Like, take for example, you may have it where you get first month's rent is the deposit, and that's it. So you don't have to pay, you know, the rent for that month. All you have to do is just pay the deposit. Or it's like no deposit, but first month's rent half off or stuff like that. So it will be in your best wise choice of decision, you know, to come down here now. You know what I'm saying? They're opening up things. The bars are opening up. Everything is open now. You understand? And I mean, it's not back to normal, but it's somewhat back to normal. I think I covered everything. I think I have. If I didn't mention certain areas, right, it's the hood. And then also, I do understand that there are pockets. Pockets meaning that, like, say, for example, if you live off of Wilkinson Boulevard, right? Wilkinson Boulevard is hood, right? But there's certain little pockets in that area that's not hood. So I can't cover everything. You understand? That's about it, man. You know, I think I've gotten everything out of the way. I think I've answered all of you all's questions, because people have been asking me, hey, you know, where can I live in Charlotte? You know, live in Charlotte. I'm 19 years old, or I'm 20, or I'm 35, or I have family, blah, 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 blah. I think I've answered all you all's questions. Other than that, man, I'm going to go work out. Y'all take it easy.